What's up, dude? Steve here from the Pixxy Lixxx YouTube channel, and I met my good friend, is it Stevan? Stevan from Pedal Fusion, and he Pedals Fusion, make sure I get that correct. And he asked me a bunch of interview questions, and I'd just like to go over them. So the first one was your favorite YouTube channels. That's a hard one to answer because I have so many YouTube channels that I really like, but the first ones that come to mind is I like Lazy Gear, Lazy Game Reviews, I think it's called, LGR. He's sort of a retro computer and gaming channel, and I'm of that era, and so when I see a lot of his stuff, I really like it. It's sort of nostalgic for me. For music channels, I like all the standard ones. Music is Win, Tone King, Robert Baker, SMG, Spectre Sound group, Glenn out of Canada, and you know, all the standard guys out there that are on YouTube. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but I love all those guys, and I check them out. You know, I check out the Andertons website, YouTube channel. There's a bunch out there. It's hard to choose a favorite because there's so many good channels out there with so much great content. But those are the first ones that come to mind. The one, the coolest gear that you've reviewed lately. I gotta say, it's not a very recent product. It's only within the last year that I picked up a copy of it, but TH3, which is a modeling software by a company called Overloud. I have just been thrilled with that product. I've been using it now for, I'd use it good, we're in September, so about 9 months now, and it came out about a year before that, but when it first came out, it wasn't, I don't think, quite ready for production. It was just okay, and a year later, I said, well, let me check it out again, and it was so much better. And then since then, they've released more updates, and it's just an incredible piece of software. And I've really been digging that lately. So if there's one piece of gear, if you can call software gear, that modeling software is amazing, and that's probably been my most utilized software. If you go to my channel and look at any video of mine, probably within the last like 6 months, I'm most likely using TH3 in the video, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. The most precious music gear that you possess. It's actually a recent acquisition. My wife actually bought me a guitar for a milestone birthday recently, and you know, I want to go on record saying that the guitar my wife bought me is my most precious piece of gear. And not because I love the guitar particularly, I do though, but it's just because she bought it for me, and it's that relationship that I think makes it more precious than any other piece of gear I own. If it wasn't for her getting me that, it would probably be one of my very old Ibanez RGs that I bought back in the 80s and I've had a long history with, like my RG 560. But really, if I'm being honest, it's my new Telecaster that my wife bought for me. And I love the guitar and I love her, and that's what makes it the most precious. All right, next up. What music band album are you currently listening to? So, that's a great question because it's been sort of all over the place. I'm trying to think, I'm sort of on the spot here. I'm trying to think of one that I've been really digging lately. There was something that came out, geez, I'm drawing a blank here. But I've been really getting in, I know I'm late to the party, okay, but I've really gotten into John Mayer in the last year, and I know everybody else is way before me on this, but that guy's got some chops, and it's probably my wife's love for his music that sort of crossed over to me, and she dragged me out to a concert like 2 years ago, and that started me saying, wow, this guy's actually pretty good, and I've been getting more and more of his stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else other than the mayor stuff in the last year. I know there was something that came out recently, but I'm drawing a blank on it right now. It's been a busy week. All right, let's see here. What's the one piece of gear you regret selling the most? Well, that's easy. That's actually a very easy question for me to answer. So in 1987, when Ibanez first got Steve Vai to join, they put out a series of guitars. One of the guitars was in a limited color, special like neon green color called Loch Ness Green. And those were only 777 were made in the entire world. And it's to match the model number. The model was called the Gem 777. So they made 777 in one special color. And on the back, he signed and numbered, like would draw like a little mark, like a little diagram on the back. And I actually had mine taken and cleared over so that the signature would never wear off. And then I sold it a couple of years later to pay for her college. And that was probably easily my most regrettable sale, because those guitars sell for a lot more money. They came back around again, as like back in fashion again, and I would probably win the internet if I never sold that guitar. And that's probably the one I regret the most selling, easily, because I didn't get a lot of money for it, and I kind of miss it. Advice or message for pedal nerds? Well, for pedal nerds, I would say, try out as many different pedals, and so forth, but don't get caught. Don't get caught in the pedal vortex, right? Don't get grabbed into pedals, because there are more pedals out there in the market, I think, than there are human beings in the world. There's so many pedals out there, right? That's a bit of a joke, but you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of pedals out there. And every time you turn around, you will find another pedal that you want to buy. But try to focus on the music, because the pedals right now, I think more than any time, and I've been playing for over 40 years, and for more time, and it went from pedals, I've been in the pedal market to the rack market, and now it's back to the pedal market again. And I can say it's a place to get lost. People, you can lose your mind going after pedals a lot. So check out nice pedals, get nice pedals and so forth. But remember that it's all about the music and not necessarily always the gear. The gear is nice, but it should be maybe a once or twice a year acquisition where you go crazy and you're like, and I find myself, trust me, it's not with pedals for me, it's more for guitars. I'm on there going, like, I wonder if there's any new, Strats up there this week. And then I see one, and I'm making a purchase I never thought I was going to make, and you just sort of get into that. So I would say my advice for pedal nerds is, careful with everything in moderation. And advice for young YouTube channels. And this is probably the advice you'll get from a lot of YouTubers, just do it. You can talk yourself out of a lot of stuff. And another piece of advice that I got from someone who's a really good YouTuber that I use a lot, and I thought was some of the best advice I ever got, was if your video is 80 or 90% of what you want, and you're holding out for that last 10 or 20%, don't do it. Just put the video out, because what you'll do is you'll wait, and then you'll talk yourself out of releasing it, and you'll wish that you would just put it out. Just put it out and just keep going. And it's really more about getting a workflow and getting something out on a regular basis than putting up the perfect video every single time. So there's my interview answers, and I hope some of those were helpful. I appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes, and as always, rock on.